Imagine if history were a circus, and Homo sapiens were the clowns. From grunting cavemen to tech-savvy urbanites, the journey of mankind is less of a noble saga and more of a slapstick comedy where the props include stone tools and smartphones. In this roller coaster ride through time, we'll discover that our ancestors weren't just pioneers of civilization. They were also the original kings of comedy. In the caveman times, fashion was literally a matter of life or death. Wear the wrong size mammoth pelt, and you could trip over during a saber-toothed tiger chase. The invention of the wheel was revolutionary, not least because it gave early humans their first taste of traffic jams. Yes, even in 3500 BC, Oog was yelling at Grog to move his cart out of the mud. The Stone Age was not without its influencers. Thag, renowned for his exclusive line of hand-carved spears, was known to often exclaim, "Subscribe to my cave paintings," showcasing early humans' knack for self-promotion. And let's not forget the first ever recorded prank, convincing someone to touch their tongue to a frozen mastodon. The wheel, when it appeared, might have been humanity's first round breakthrough, but it certainly brought about the first circular arguments. Which way do we roll it again? Imagine spending your entire life preparing for your death. Welcome to ancient Egypt. Pharaohs poured their wealth into building pyramids and securing a luxury suite in the afterlife, only to often end up decorated in what looks suspiciously like elaborate toilet paper. Mummification brought its own set of comedic gold. Will my mummy look bigger in this? Might have been a common concern among the Egyptian elite. And pyramid schemes? The Egyptians invented them. Literally. The workforce would often joke about their jobs being hieroglyph, pun absolutely intended. But it wasn't all work and no play. Egyptians loved their board games. Senet, a game that determined your fate in the afterlife, was the monopoly of ancient times, except losing could result in eternal damnation. Talk about high stakes. The Greeks didn't just give us democracy and philosophy, they also introduced the world to the sitcom. Aristophanes, often considered the father of comedy, penned plays that wouldn't look out of place on Saturday Night Live, tackling issues from war to politics and sex, all with a sharp wit. Socrates, the street philosopher, was famed for his method of incessant questioning. Imagine him at a party. No wonder he was sentenced to death. His last words reportedly were a sardonic quip about owing someone a chicken, showcasing that his humor was as dry as Athenian wine. The ancient Olympics, too, were not without their lighter moments. Athletes competed naked, which led to the original wardrobe malfunctions. And let's not start on the chariot races. Ancient Greece's answer to Formula One, but with more horsepower and significantly more crashes. If you thought modern life was complicated, try being a Roman. Between attending orgies, throwing Christians to lions, and deciding which sandals paired best with your toga, it was a busy life. The Romans built roads that all led to Rome, essentially creating the first GPS system. But still, everyone complained about the traffic. Gladiators were the sports stars of their day, endorsing olive oil and chariots. Imagine the billboards Maximus recommends Caesar's chariots, when you absolutely, positively have to conquer your enemies before sunrise. Roman feasts were another level of excess. Imagine a dinner party where vomitoriums were involved, making room for dessert. They practically invented binge watching and binge eating, only what they were binging on was often live entertainment involving wild beasts. The term Dark Ages is such a misnomer. With all the mead flowing and jesters jesting, it was more of a rollicking good time than history books suggest. Knights would often compete in tournaments which were essentially medieval reality TV, complete with sponsorship deals from the local blacksmith. The invention of the chastity belt was perhaps a highlight of medieval innovation, though one imagines it was the locksmiths who truly reaped the benefits. And let's not overlook the fashion. Chainmail was the ultimate in punk rock attire, functional and with serious street cred. Monks, those copyists of the medieval world, were the original meme creators, often illustrating manuscripts with whimsical drawings of snails fighting knights or rabbits conducting human sacrifice. The French Revolution, while a grave affair, was not without its comedic moments. Imagine guillotines being referred to as the national razor, which offered the ultimate close shave. The revolutionaries certainly had a cutting sense of humor. Marie Antoinette, famously misquoted as saying, "Let them eat cake," might as well have been the pioneer of influencer marketing, albeit unwittingly. Her extravagant hairstyles, which sometimes featured fully rigged ships, make today's fashion influencers look positively pedestrian. The sans-culottes, literally without breeches, were perhaps the original hipsters of the revolutionary era, refusing to wear the knee breeches of the aristocracy. Their movement could be seen as an early form of fashion rebellion, or perhaps just a very public way of protesting Laundry Day. The Industrial Revolution was all about steam, smoke, and spinning jennies. It was a time when children could work in factories instead of going to school. Talk about a tough childhood. It was also the era of some bizarre inventions like the steam-powered top hat. Yes, because what better way to solve the inconvenience of rain than boiling your own head? Among the lesser-known flops was the smoke-emitting corset, intended to mask the smell of the unwashed masses, but really just adding to the overall pollution. Another notable mention is the mechanical wig fluffing machine, which was all the rage until several unfortunate scalping incidents. This was a time when people were obsessed with gadgetry to an almost comedic degree. The phrase, "now you're just reinventing the wheel," might have originated when someone actually tried to reinvent the wheel, this time with unnecessary cogs and steam whistles. The 20th century was a wild ride from start to finish, featuring 2 world wars that, frankly, could have used better scriptwriters. The absurdities included pigeons trained as bombers and bat bombs, an actual plan involving bats with bombs strapped to them. It's safe to say the military strategists were sometimes just winging it. During the Cold War, the space race provided some lighthearted rivalry. The Americans and Soviets were like 2 neighbors competing over who could build the fancier backyard rocket shed. Meanwhile, everyday folks were busy building bomb shelters, turning their gardens into scenes reminiscent of a dystopian BBQ party. Amidst all this, television bloomed, bringing sitcoms into homes, which taught us that even in times of crisis, you could always count on a laugh track to lighten the mood. If only real life had laugh tracks, right? The digital age, when humanity's greatest dilemma shifted from "what shall we eat" to "why won't this video load?" Today's world is where people stand in line for hours to buy a phone that will become obsolete in a year. Talk about commitment. The internet gave birth to memes, proving that everyone's a comedian in the digital arena. It's a place where cats are stars and your grandma's Facebook comments on your posts are more embarrassing than your baby photos. Modern tech fails provide endless amusement. Remember the AI that was supposed to learn human conversation but turned into a troll within 24 hours? Or virtual reality trials that had people walking into walls? It's like watching evolution in reverse, where once we invented tools, now the tools seem to be outsmarting us. As we've seen, the journey of Homo sapiens has been anything but dull. From inventing the wheel to steering rovers on Mars, it's clear we've come a long way. But what's next for this peculiar species with a penchant for both profound thoughts and profound silliness? Will our future be a utopia powered by clean energy and governed by wise AI? Or are we heading towards a reality show hosted by robots? One thing's for sure, if history is any guide, It's going to be a hilarious ride. So let's keep our sense of humor as we rocket into the future. After all, if we can laugh at our past, we can surely smile at what's to come. Here's to Homo sapiens, the funniest species on Earth. May our future be as entertaining as our history has been bewildering.